na sa TV, mag-aral ng maigi to get the lessons easily. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. Let's come and learn together, supporting one another. We love, we care, we share. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. Tangkop, tangkop time.
Alamin ang teknolohiya sa agrikultura at pangkabuhayan upang umunlad ang ating bayan sagana sa likas na yaman. Halika na mag-ipipina, ipipina, ipipina. Halika na, mag-aral na. Alamin ang teknolohiya sa agrikultura at pangkabuhayan upang umunlad ang ating bayan sagana sa likas na yaman. Halika na mag-ipipina, ipipina, ipipina. Halika na, mag-aral na. Ipipina, 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 ipipina.
afternoon to our senior high school learners who are watching via our FB Live at DepEd Tayo Tanggub and Astral Academy.
Yes, I am Teacher R from Lorenzo Tan National High School.
And I am Mildred B. Bichayda from Tanggub City National High School.
And we are your teacher facilitators today.
Good afternoon, Sir R.
Yes, maayong hapon kanimo, Ma'am Mildred. And of course, today, again, Ma'am, Wednesday, January 12, 2022, and we will be discussing topics about the subject of practical research.
With that, stay tuned, learners, because we are going to discuss our subject for today, which is practical research 2 after a short break.
This is Astral Academy Cyber School. And we are back still here in Astral Academy Cyber School. And of course, to start with our discussion this afternoon, we have Ma'am Mildred. Of course, our this afternoon learners, since we already discussed the topics covered in the most essential competency, or what we call the MELCs, in this subject, practical research 2, let us have a generalization or summary by introducing to you the research process, the output of your study, and of course, in the research process, there are actually 2 stages, right, ma'am? Namely, the research proposal stage and the final stage. Yes, ma'am?
Alright, so thank you, Sir R. So, there are 2 stages as mentioned by Sir R. So, the part 1 of which of the research process is the research problem.
Yes.
So, under the research problem there, you can see the introduction, statement of the problem, the hypothesis, the scope and limitation, importance or significance of the study, and also the definition of terms.
You're right, Teacher Mildred.
Okay, so the above mentioned parts were actually discussed thoroughly in the first quarter of this semester. So I am sure that you already have an idea, or you already know on how to formulate the first part of your research paper.
Yes.
Okay, so again, flash in your screen, learners, are the second and the third part of the research process. So, the second part is the review of related literature and studies. The third one is the methodology. So, under in the methodology are the research design, sampling, the procedure, the instrument, and the treatment of the data. So, again, learners, this was also explained to all of you in the start of the second semester of this second quarter of this semester. So I hope that you could still remember the important points in the discussion.
And of course, Ma'am Mildred, we have here also in the final stage of the research paper, these are the following, right? So the data collection first, the second one is the presentation, analysis, and interpretation of data, and of course the third one is the summary, conclusion, and the recommendations.
Okay, you're right, Sir R. So learners, so if you could still remember in one of our lessons that to begin a research study is of course to identify research problem. So properly defined problem will lead you to a successful conduct.
Yes.
Because this is the baseline. So the research problem, Sir R, is the baseline information needed to start a research. So the importance of the research is to solve a particular problem,
Of course.
find answers to a questions, or give solutions. So address the gaps, and of course to provide development of one's community.
Yes. Moreover, Ma'am Mildred, after identifying or selecting or defining research problem, next is the formulation of the research title. So again, the title gives information and description of the subject matter of the research. Being the short, catchy part of your paper, that has the power. That has the power to instantly attract the reader. And also, it must contain keywords to predict the content and tone of the research paper. And of course, in getting attention, an attention-getting kind of a title is a short, informative, and made of only 15 words. Owing to this essential rule of a research title, again, you must think of one that is meaningful, specific, reflective. Like say for instance, antecedents and consequences of teenage pregnancy. So again, Ma'am so kinahanglan jud kayo ang, of course, ang pagpili nato sa tuang research topic, no?
Okay, so the other ones are actually this the next one is the abstract,
Yes,
in which ang abstracts are after na gid siya, kumbaga full blown na sa imong
Yes,
study.
tinuod
So
ko,
this
Ma'am
is
Mildred.
where you can formulate the abstract. So
Yes.
unsa din ang abstract?
Yes.
So the abstract concisely discusses the essential aspects of your paper. So murag ako lang ni siyang gi-insert gamay
Yes,
ang
ma'am.
abstract sir nga assuming nga murag mahuman na ta, padulong
Yes,
na ta
padulong,
kahuman.
yes,
Okay. So, as the background of the problem, the objectives, the significance, the research design, data collection technique, data analysis method, discussions of the findings,
Yes.
scope, conclusions, and among others. So, in the formulation of abstract, so you have to formulate it from 100 to 250
Yes,
words,
ma'am.
discussion. So, of the salient parts, kung gi-mention ka ganina.
Oo.
So, your abstract suffices as the summary of your research
Research
report.
report, yes.
So, this is the brief, distinct paragraph would be 250 or less. So, unindented. Then, single space lang siya. So, that is the summary of the study. No?
Yes.
Naa diha ang comprehensive sentences, and it should be easily grasped to the point description of the research. So, here in the abstract, you avoid citing
Of
the
course, yes,
references. So, then, it should be brief, clear, logical, and should not be abnormal acronyms or abbreviations. So, that is according to the Informal Guidelines 2010.
Yes. Take note that, learners, no? As what Ma'am Mildred mentioned.
Okay, so since an abstract, it explains in a nutshell all essential components of the research paper, it usually comes to its written form only after the final stage, as I mentioned
Yes,
kanina. Since then, nahuman naman yun atong topic until recommendation.
Yes, ma'am.
So, mao na akong gi-insert sa
Yes.
iyaha. Daan is ato ang discussion this
That's why we
afternoon.
assume, Ma'am Mildred, nga pahuman na yun, pahuman na.
Okay, so
research.
another thing, sir, are when you formulate an abstract, we have to follow the MRAD abbreviation. So, unsa ng MRAD? So, that is the introduction, bali the short introduction of your study, the methodology,
Yes.
results, and discussions
Yes.
para mas sayon or mas dali ang
Yes, ma'am.
paghimo sa atong mga learners if we follow this
Yeah.
abbreviation. So, dali kayo nila mahinumduman. This is how I am going to formulate
Yes.
the abstract of my study.
Yes, so again, learners, simply follow the MRED, no? Red, sabi ni Ma'am ganina, and like the introduction, the methodology, the results, and the discussion. Alright? More discussions when we return. This is
Astral Academy Cyber School.
Alamin ang teknolohiya sa agrikultura at pangkabuhayan upang umunlad ang ating bayan sagana sa likas na yaman. Halika!
And we are back still here in Astral Academy Cyber School. And for us to continue with our discussion and research, Ma'am Mildred will move to the next topic.
Okay, so in the part 1 of our research stage, so we've mentioned on the introduction.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the introduction, so this part explains the background of the research problem. So it states a set of specific research questions and of optional hypotheses or assumptions. So
Yes.
the purpose of this section is to let the readers see the connection of the purposes of your research question. So, not only with the current world condition,
Yes.
but also with the theoretical principles that underlie your topic and other aspects of your research.
Yes.
So, din Sir R, in formulating the introduction, so we need to follow kay ang introduction dili necessary nga taas kaayo siya Sir
Yes.
R. So, it state the problem that needs to be addressed. So, it should be composed, pwede ra siya og 4 paragraphs. So, ato siyang itagsa-tagsa kung unsay content sa by paragraph.
Yes.
Okay. So, in the first paragraph, it talks about the researcher's own ideas of the study. So, we have to take note, learners, that the researchers, your research paper should be gikan sa lain-lain nga mga sa atong related studies.
Yes,
So, the second part of it, so the second paragraph contains the related literature and studies that support. So, at least 3 sources
Yes, so at
or
least
resources.
there will be 3 resources on that.
So, what are other authors says about your topic?
Topic.
Kay sa imong pag-study man go, dili lang ikaw may nakahuna-huna ana
Of course.
nga research.
Yes,
So, naanay daghan nga nag-study about ana nga problem nga imong nahuna-hunaan. On the third paragraph, it discusses about the gaps and lapses. So, mo nang gitawag na tog problem. So,
Yes.
in research term, pwede na to siya tawag gaps and lapses,
Lapses.
no, of the study. And the last paragraph talks about the researchers' objectives and purposes. Unsay tumong sa researchers nganong nag-study man ko ani. No,
Yes.
unsay gusto nako nga mahuman or output of this study.
Yes.
So by the way, Sir R, atong i-expound gamay, unsa din ang gaps, unsa din ang lapses.
Because it is very interesting to our dear learners, of course.
Okay. So when we say gap or research gap, it is defined as a topic or area for which missing or insufficient information limits the ability to reach a conclusion for a question.
Yes.
Or a research need is defined as a gap that limits the ability of the decision makers. Who are these decision makers? The policy makers, the patients, practitioners, and others
Yes.
from making decisions. Okay? So, the other part of the researcher
since we
are...
are done with the introduction, ma'am, we will follow again the statement of the problem. So, again, this section would be in a question form. Now, state that the general problem, then specifically enumerate the questions that need to be addressed or answered. So, we have also, I guess it is an example of the statement of the problem, right, ma'am?
Yes,
No,
sir.
so, this part will reveal the purpose of the study to determine the extent of the customer service, orientation, creativity, and innovation competency in the Tangub City Water District personnel in order to design a program for enhancement. So this is one of the example of a statement of
One
a problem.
of the research output.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So, by assessing of the personnel of the TCWD, what is their profile? So naay mga gihatag siya nga kuan ma'am no.
Those are the enumerated
Yes.
questions,
Yes.
specific questions to be answered.
Answered no sa
Okay.
mga respondent no.
Yes, sir.
So in the 1.1 nadira ang age, in the 1.2 na ay gender, 1.3 the educational attainment, and of course in the 1.4 the designation, and the 1.5 the income. So next is what is the level of the customer services of the TCWD personnel extend to their consumers. So another question na po ma'am no.
Yes, sir.
So number 3, what is the level of competency of the TCWD personnel in terms of creativity and innovation? Because ato na lang tawag dito sa statement of problems.
Yes, sir.
These are the questions, no?
Yes, sir.
So, number 4, is there significant relationship between the demographic profile of the TCWD personnel and the creativity and innovation competency as perceived by the respondents? And number 5, are this significant relationship on the evaluation made between the TCWD personnel and their consumers regarding the customer service orientation's competency? And last one, based on the study, what program could be designed to enhance the customer service orientation, creativity, and innovation competency of the TCWD personnel?
Okay, so from that example, sir, that is actually an example of a correlational research.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So, and then, sir, since no atong napakita dera that the statement of the problem, there are 6
Yes.
statement of the problem. But for the learners, especially for the senior high school,
Yes, ma'am.
pwede ra gid kaayo, sir, nga 2 or 3 questions. Since then, atong mga learners is kanang beginners pa ba?
Tinuod.
Okay, so kato siya nga mga questions, sir, pwede ra daghan kung expert or
Yes,
maayo o
or
dako na
mastered
gid
na ba,
kaayo
yes,
o ang research. Okay, so another thing is the hypothesis. Okay, so hypothesis, there are 2 types of hypothesis. So, common mangyay the null hypothesis
Yes, ma'am.
and the alternative hypothesis. So, the null hypothesis, it's symbolized by H sub 0. And the alternative or the predictive hypothesis, it's symbolized by H sub 1. So, when we say null hypothesis, it is known as the a no difference
Yes.
or a no relationship hypothesis.
Oh, yes.
So it means neutrality and objectivity which must be present in any research undertaking.
Yes, you're right,
So
Mr. Mildred.
while the alternative hypothesis, it is the opposite, obviously, no? The opposite of the null hypothesis. It specifies an existence. So
Yes.
kung ganina no difference or
Yes.
no relationship, when we see alternative hypothesis,
Yes.
it specifies an existence of a difference or a relationship of the 2 variables of your study.
You're right, Teacher Mildred. So, again, we will move to the significance of the study. So, again, the significance of study, these segments of research paper will tell the reader who will be benefited on the result of the study. So, from the word itself, ma'am, kung kinsa to, mao gito yung mga tagan of benepisyo no sa ana nga study. So,
Part and parcel of the researcher
Yes,
nga iyang huna-hunaon kay di ba ang pinaka main purpose nato of conducting a study is to resolve a
Yeah.
particular problem
Yes.
or to recommend
yes,
a
to give
solution.
result, further recommendations.
Yes, sir. So, it is very important that you will know who will benefited
Yes.
to your study.
Study.
Okay? So, in stating the significance of the study, sir, it could be in a numerative form.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Pero, then, ato ang easy to it nga, ang pinaka maoy number 1 nato, sir. O, kinsay mas maka-benefit.
Benefits,
It could
yes.
be, ang pinaka maka-benefit sa imong study are the students.
Yes,
so,
Lord.
dayon, with the explanation.
Of
So,
course.
nganong maka-benefit siya from your study. Okay? And the other one, sir, is the definition of terms.
Yes.
Okay?
This is very important also.
Yes, sir. Then, there are ways also to define a terms. Kay, naaman sa tong study, kay, natay mga words nga medyo lisod.
Yes, especially kanang dili mga unfamiliar words
Unfamiliar.
na to, or technical term
Yes, sir.
ipanggamit
So, ato
nato.
na siya nga ibutang sa tong definition of words. So,
Yes.
naputay pamaagian na, sir, it is defined theoretically
Yes.
or operationally. Okay? So, when we say theoretically, we define that word or words based on the theories kanang ato pong nakuha nga sa literature sa uban.
Yes.
When we say operationally, sir, ato siyang gidefine base kung giunsa nato siya paggamit sa ato ang papel.
Absolutely.
Okay, so unsa nato siya pag gamit para masabtan sa ato ang reader. So
Yes.
kay sa ato mangong researcher, it is not necessary nga mugamit tag lagmi kay words nga laglom kaayo
Yes.
to the point nga dili siya masabtan.
And also dili siya appropriate, no?
Yes, sir. So, kinanglan, ang ato ang gamiton, nga words sa ato ang study, it should be familiar,
Yes, relevant.
common, yes, sir, relevant, and then, importante kaayo na siya, sir, nga ato
Yes.
na siyang kuan sa ato ang study, i-integrate
Yes.
sa ato ang study.
Yes.
Okay, so I hope learners that you were able to follow
Yes.
our discussion on the basic guidelines. Mura na
Yes.
siya og summary sa ato ang whole course good or
Yes,
whole
and
subject
also,
practical research too. And I hope that you can apply what you have learned from our discussion on your own research study,
Yes.
no?
And of course, to our dear senior high school stars, we hope that you acquire knowledge on the topics being shared to all of you. And if you have any questions or comments about the topics, please write it down below. And of course, dili ta malimot no sa ato ang senior high school nga attendance marker, ikaduha nga senior
Yes, sir.
high school attendance marker. And again, thank you for watching here. This is your teacher R from Lorenzo Tan National High School.
And I am Mildred Bibi Chaida from Tangub City National High School. Have a productive day ahead and stay safe, everyone.
This is
Astral
Astral
Academy
Academy
Cyber
Cyber School.
School. Bye.
Tayo na buksan ang mga radyo, lina at matuto sa mga aral sa mundo. Tayo na tumutok na sa TV, mag-aral ng maigi to get the lessons easily. It's tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. Tayo na. Let's come and learn together, supporting one another. We love, we care, we share. It's tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. Tangkop time.
The Department of Education Division of Tangub City, in partnership with the local government unit of Tangub, presents Ang Tangkub, Transforming Advancement in the New Normal, guiding K-12 learners under broadcast media at instructional program crafted in response to the need of making education possible and accessible to students at the comfort of their homes. It covers the most essential competencies thematically layered in drama plays which were originally written, directed, and performed by teachers to see to it that education is securely provided. This is Ang Tangkub.
Tayo na. Buksan ang mga radyo, lina at matuto sa mga aral sa mundo. Tayo na. Tumutok na sa TV, mag-aral ng maigi to get the lessons easily. It's tangkub, tangkub, tangkub time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkub, tangkub, tangkub time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. Tayo na. Let's come and learn together, supporting one another. We love, we care, we share. It's tangkub, tangkub, tangkub time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkub, tangkub, tangkub time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkub, tangkub, tangkub time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkub, tangkub, tangkub time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkub, tangkub, tangkub time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. Tangkub, tangkub time.
The Department of Education, Division of Tangub City, in partnership with the local government unit of Tangub, presents Ang Tangkub, Transforming Advancement in the New Normal, guiding K-12 learners under broadcast media, crafted in response to the need of making education possible and accessible to students at the comfort of their homes. It covers the most essential competencies thematically layered in drama plays which were originally written, directed, and performed by teachers to see to it that education is securely provided. This is Ang Tangkub.
It's Tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fun. Masaya. Tangkop time.
Hello and good day, grade 7 learners. Welcome to the 8th episode for second quarter of ang Tangkub, TV-based instruction. You have learned in the previous lessons the biotic and abiotic components of an ecosystem. In this episode, you will be able to predict the effect of changes in abiotic factors on the ecosystem. Abiotic factors, also called abiotic components, are non-living factors that impact an ecosystem. Abiotic factors are part of the ecosystem and can impact the associated living things, but they are not living. The term abiotic comes from the root parts a or a meaning without and bio meaning life. The living parts of an ecosystem are called biotic factors. Abiotic factors make up much of the variation seen between different ecosystems. By determining the availability of essential resources such as sunlight, water, oxygen, and minerals, abiotic factors influence which organisms can survive in a given place. Common examples of abiotic factors include wind, rain, humidity, latitude, temperature, elevation, soil composition, salinity, or the concentration of salt in water, radiation, and pollution. The following are a few examples of how abiotic factors can shape ecosystems by determining which organisms can live in them and what those organisms must do to survive. In many places, prairie or savanna ecosystems evolve instead of forest or jungle ecosystems. For example, because there is not enough rain to support trees, other factors such as high winds and soil that is poor in essential nutrients may also help to create an environment in which trees cannot survive, but prairie plants are prevalent. Abiotic factors may include added challenges to life forms, such as temperature extremes, high winds, or even pollution. Human activity has also become an important factor in determining which life forms survive in some ecosystems. Desert abiotic factors, perhaps the most obvious biome that is determined by abiotic factors, is the desert. Because of low rainfall, deserts develop ecosystems that are highly distinct from those of any other habitat. Scientists use the term desert to refer to any area which has less than 25 centimeters or 9.75 inches of rain or snow in an average year. By this definition, deserts cover about 20% of Earth's land area, including the continent of Antarctica. Desert ecosystems can also experience extreme temperature swings because open water and water vapor act as temperature stabilizing elements in wetter biomes. Between the low rainfall and the often extreme temperatures, deserts develop unique organisms and food chains. Tropical rainforest abiotic factors. At the other end of the spectrum, tropical rainforests are one of the wettest ecosystems on Earth. To be classified as a rainforest, an area must receive at least 75 inches or 190 centimeters of rain per year. Most rainforests get well over 100 inches or 254 centimeters annually. Tropical rainforests are rainforests located in the tropics. The tropics form a belt around the equator and receive a great deal of sunlight throughout the year, resulting in warm temperatures and mild seasons. Due to their warm and wet climates, rainforests develop extremely dense, lush, and complex ecosystems. Rainforests are unique in that they consist of life layered on top of life. Most scientists divide tropical rainforests into 6 different layers, each of which hosts different types of life. The topmost layer of the rainforest, the canopy, receives the most sunlight, while the bottommost layers receive very little sunlight because of shade from plants in the other layers. This impacts the species that are able to grow in these layers. Tundra abiotic factors. Another unique type of biome created by abiotic factors is the tundra. Tundras are located in the North Polar region where they receive very little light and heat from the sun. As a result, only a thin top layer of soil thaws sufficiently to allow plant growth. A deep layer of soil called subsoil can remain frozen for thousands of years. Because the subsoil remains frozen, trees which require deep roots cannot grow in the tundra. Instead, grasses and other small plants that can grow in the thin soil flourish. Abiotic factors in the ocean hosts some unique abiotic factors. Notably, the ocean contains salt. It also has the attribute of death, which affects the amount of sunlight that the sea life receives. The saltiness of the ocean is important for the animals living there. All creatures must adapt to prevent the ocean salt from disrupting their biochemistry. Dolphins that swim in the ocean get all of their water from their prey animals because the salt water would dehydrate them. Some fish can survive only in salt water because they have adapted so well to the environment. The ocean, like the rainforest, also has a number of different zones that receive different amounts of sunlight and host very different types of life. This is because water itself both blocks out and absorbs sunlight. Life in the topmost zone of the ocean, called the epipelagic zone, receives a large amount of sunlight. This is where photosynthetic ocean life like coral and seaweed is found. By contrast, the abyssopelagic zone at the bottom of the ocean receives almost no sunlight. This part of the ocean hosts strange sea creatures, some of which cannot survive at the surface because their body structures depend on the high water pressure at depth. The very deep trenches of the ocean contain an even colder, darker zone called the hadopelagic zone. This zone is named after the Greek underworld. As a result of these abiotic factors, there are different ocean ecosystems, such as shoreline ecosystems, coral reef ecosystems, and deep ocean ecosystems. Abiotic factors in other ecosystems. The biomes described earlier are not the only ecosystems impacted by abiotic factors. Ecosystems make up the entirety of the Earth's surface, and abiotic factors impact all the living things within them. For example, abiotic factors also shape the features of the following ecosystems. Temperate rainforest, sometimes called temperate broad-leaved forest, are characterized by mild, seasonal climates. They are less dense and tropical rainforests due to the milder weather but still play host to rich biomes. Freshwater ecosystems represent the non-marine aquatic ecosystems, including rivers, ponds, lakes, springs, and wetlands. Abiotic factors affecting these ecosystems include temperature, light penetration, and pH of the water. Grasslands are ecosystems primarily dominated by grass, lacking the abundance of trees required to be considered a forest. These ecosystems are defined by the rainfall. there is too much to be considered a desert, but not enough to support a forest ecosystem. Taiga ecosystems are called forest regions found in the subarctic. They are characterized by the presence of evergreen trees and other plants that can survive the cold, such as mosses and mushrooms. The animals include moose, bear, deer, and lynx. Hope you learned something new today, kiddos. Now, kindly get your activity sheet number 8 in Science 7. Let's read the directions. Directions. Read the given paragraph and answer the questions briefly. Write your answers in 3 to 5 sentences. Good luck and God bless, kiddos. Please prepare grade 8 learners for Science 8 is coming next. This has been Miss Bernaline Carpio, your science teacher for today. Always remember to keep reading, keep watching, and keep learning at home. Bye!
Inihahandog ng Dibisyon ng Tangub City ang iba't ibang kwento, aral at kaalaman habang kayo ay nasa inyong mga tahanan. TV-based instruction.
Hello, grade 8 learners! Welcome to our episode 8 for the second quarter of Ang Tangkub. Previously, you have learned about the occurrence of meteor showers. In today's episode, we will differentiate the characteristics of comets and asteroids. Moreover, this lesson will help you understand the difference among meteors, and meteorites. Recent advances in space technology have allowed scientists to study near-Earth objects, such as comets and asteroids. Comets are icy bodies or objects, while asteroids are rocky fragments. They are remnants from the formation of our solar system 4.6 billion years ago. The table shows the similarities and differences between comets and asteroids. In terms of origin, comets originate from Kuiper Belt and Oort cloud, while asteroid originates from main asteroid belt. The shape of comet is varied and irregular, the same as asteroid, which is also varied and irregular. The size range of diameter in terms of kilometer for comet is 1 to 10 kilometers. On the other hand, for asteroids, it's 1 to 100 plus. The chemical composition of comet is ice or frozen water, frozen gases such as ammonia, methane, and carbon dioxide, and other organic compounds such as carbon-containing compounds. On the other hand, the chemical composition of asteroid are silicates such as olivine and pyroxene, iron, and nickel. The orbit of comet is highly elliptical, while the orbit of asteroid is more rounded. For the orbital period, comet takes 75 to 100,000 plus years to orbit around the Sun, while asteroid takes 1 to 100 years to orbit around the Sun. Overall, both comets and asteroids have varied and irregular shapes. However, asteroids have bigger sizes compared to comets. When we compare the location of comets and asteroids, comets are located farther from the Sun. That's why it takes longer years for the comets to complete one revolution than the asteroids. Comets and asteroids have different composition. Since asteroids are located near the inner planets, its composition is made up of silicates. That's why they are usually rocky objects. On the other hand, comets are usually icy or frozen materials since they are located near Neptune or farther from it. The composition of a comet is important in helping scientists understand how Earth has liquid water, which in turn made the planet livable. During Earth's formation, scientists theorize that the planet must have been too hot to have liquid water on its surface. By studying comets' orbits and the chemical composition of materials found in impact craters all over Earth, soil, and ice samples collected from drilling down Earth's crust and marine layers, scientists theorize that the early impact of comets on Earth brought liquid water to the planet. The chemical composition of asteroid is important in providing clues for scientists to discover more about the chemical composition of Earth and other planets in the solar system, as well as how life on Earth was affected by impacts in the past. It is the scientists' belief that Earth, other planets, and asteroids are essentially similar in composition. In fact, asteroids are also called minor planets or planetoids. After knowing the similarities and differences of comets and asteroids, let us now know the difference among meteors, and meteorites. Meteoroid is a rocky or metallic fragment of an asteroid, comet, or planet. Meteor is a streak of light seen when a meteoroid heats up in the atmosphere, while meteorite is a meteor fragment that reaches the ground. There are 5 meteorites found in the Philippines with its year and place of discovery. First meteorite is Pampanga, which was discovered last 1859 in Pampanga. Next is Paitan in 1910, which was also discovered in Paitan, Ilocos. Next is Calivo in 1916, which was found in Western Visayas. Fourth is Pantar in 1938, which was found in Central Mindanao. And lastly, Bundok in 1956, which was found in Southern Tagalog. In terms of location, meteoroid is found in space, meteor is in the atmosphere, and meteorite is on Earth. That's it for today, grade 8 learners. This time, kindly get your activity sheet number 8 in Science 8. Activity 1, Directions. Fill in the missing terms to completely differentiate comets, meteors, and asteroids. Activity 2, Directions. Draw and label the location of meteor, meteoroid, and meteorite in the box provided. Note, your drawing should not be a copy of the given illustration in the first page. Use your time wisely, learners. Good luck and God bless. Grade 9 learners, stay tuned for Science 9 is coming next. This has been Miss Mary Chris Malalis. Always remember to keep reading, keep watching, and keep learning at home. Bye!
Inihahandog ng Dibisyon ng Tangub City ang iba't ibang kwento, aral, at kaalaman habang kayo ay nasa inyong mga tahanan. TV-based instruction.
Hey there, grade 9 learners! Welcome to the 8th episode for second quarter of ang Tangkub, TV-based instruction. In the earlier lessons, you have learned about calculating the molar mass and the connection between molar mass, number of moles, and number of particles in a mole of a substance. This time, in order to be proficient in solving for molar mass and percentage composition of an element, let's solve more sample problems. But first, let's review what is molar mass and how to get it using its formula. The molar mass of a substance is defined as the total mass of 1 mole of the substance. It is numerically equal to the atomic mass and often represented in terms of grams per mole. Molar mass can be represented by the following formula. Molar mass of a substance is equal to mass of the substance in grams over or divided by the number of moles. Molar mass is needed in order to proceed in solving for the percentage composition. In finding for the molar mass of a compound, you need to identify first the atomic mass of each constituent element. The atomic mass is found in your periodic table of elements. Kindly refer to your periodic table of elements. For example, the compound sodium carbonate or Na2CO3. Sodium Na has an atomic mass of 23 grams, multiplied by 2 because there are 2 atoms of sodium in the compound. It is equal to 46 grams. Carbon with an atomic mass of 12 grams multiplied by 1 is equal to 12.01 grams. And oxygen that has a mass of 16 grams multiplied by 3 is equal to 48 grams. Adding up 46, 12, and 48, it is now equal to 106 grams. Therefore, the molar mass of sodium carbonate is equal to 106 grams. Another example is the compound sugar or C6H12O6. In this example, carbon with atomic mass of 12 grams multiplied by 6 because there are 6 atoms of carbon in the compound. It is now equal to 72 grams. Hydrogen with a mass of 1 gram multiplied by 12 is equal to 12 grams. And oxygen that has an atomic mass of 16 grams multiplied by 6 is equal to 96 grams. Therefore, the molar mass of sugar or C6H12O6 is 180 grams. The percent composition of a compound can be determined from the chemical formula of a compound. The subscripts in the formula are first used to calculate the mass of each element in 1 mole of a compound. Then, it will be divided by the molar mass of the compound and then multiplied by 100. The formula is percent by mass is equal to mass of element in 1 mole divided by molar mass of compound times 100. Let's solve for the percentage composition using the given formula and the values of previously calculated molar mass of sodium carbonate or Na2CO3 and sugar C6H12O6. Solving for the percent composition of sodium Na has a mass of 46 grams, refer to the previous data, divided by the molar mass 106 grams times or multiplied by 100 is equal to 43.4%. For carbon has a mass of 12 grams divided by again the molar mass 106 grams times 100 is equal to 11.3%. And oxygen with a mass of 48 grams divided by the molar mass 106 grams and times 100 is equal to 45.3%. Next example is C6H12O6 or sugar. The mass of carbon is 72 grams divided by the molar mass 180 grams times 100 is equal to 40%. Hydrogen has a mass of 12 grams divided by 180 grams times 100 is equal to 6.67%. And oxygen with a mass of 96 grams divided by 180 grams times 100 is equal to 53.3%. Hope you learned big time today, learners. Now, kindly get your activity sheet number 8 in Science 9. Activity 1. Problem solving. Directions. Solve the following and show your solutions. Find the molar mass of each compound. Refer to the one shown earlier. Activity 2. Problem solving. Directions. Solve the following and show your solution. Find the mass percent of each compound. Refer to the example shown earlier. Take your time and think wisely, learners. You can do it! This has been Miss Vernaline Carpio, your science teacher for today. Always remember to keep reading, keep watching, and keep learning at home. Bye!
Inihahandog ng Dibisyon ng Tangub City ang iba't ibang kwento, aral, at kaalaman habang kayo ay nasa inyong mga tahanan. TV-based instruction.
Hello, grade 10 learners! Welcome to our 8th episode of Ang Tangkub. Previously, you have learned about the operation of a simple electric motor. Today, we will explain the operation of a simple generator. Tracing its history, shortly after Ørsted's discovery that electricity produces magnetic field, scientists experimented the opposite possibility. This led Michael Faraday to discover the electromagnetic induction in 1831. Michael Faraday concluded that when a wire is moved through a magnetic field, a current is generated in the wire. This process of generating current by the relative motion between a wire and magnetic field is called electromagnetic induction. Faraday's law of induction is designed to accurately predict and measure how a magnetic field will interact with an electric circuit to produce an electromotive force. The electromotive force converts other forms of energy, such as electrical energy, into mechanical energy. This concept allows us to produce electric motor and electric generator. For today's episode, we will focus on electric generator and how it operates. An electrical generator is a mechanical device that converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. It is the exact opposite of electric motor. However, the parts of electric generator are almost the same as the electric motor. The basic parts of the electric generator are the armature, brushes, commutator or slip rings, and permanent magnet or the stator. The armature is the one that rotates when the generator is turned on. The brushes are the spring-loaded contacts that transfer current from the armature to the electrical system. The brushes actually rest against a segmented ring at one end of the armature called the commutator. For an electric generator, an armature needs to rotate in a magnetic field produced by a magnet. The changing magnetic field as the armature rotates forces electrons through the armature solenoid, inducing current. From the illustration, take note that no current is produced when the armature is not being rotated. An induced current is produced in an electric generator by rotating a wound coil called armature in a stationary magnetic field. Circular metal conductors called slip rings are connected to the ends of the armature so that they rotate with it. The induced electric current is delivered to an external circuit through the slip rings by stationary brushes. Generators may be classified as an alternating current generator or AC generator or a DC or direct current generator. Both or these generators work in the same fundamental principle of Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. In an AC generator, when the loop of wire rotates in a magnetic field, there is a change in the number of magnetic field lines within the loop. The number of magnetic field lines that the loop encloses varies from a maximum to a minimum, then back to a maximum again. As this happens, the changing strength of the magnetic field through the wire induces a voltage that generates electric current. The induced voltage initially causes a current moving on a direction along the wire. As the loop of wire rotates through 180 degrees, the induced voltage reverses and consequently reverses the direction of the current. The direction of the induced current reverses every half revolution of the wire. or after every 180 degrees turn of the loop of wire. This causes the formation of alternating current. The slip rings always keep the wire connected to the same side of the electric circuit. This mechanism causes the direction of the current to alternately change its direction in the current. On the other hand, a DC generator is almost the same as an AC generator, except that the slip rings are connected to the rotating loop of wire or armature or replaced by split rings or commutators. Each half of the split ring is connected to one end of the loop or armature terminals. The current induced in the armature is still an alternating current, but the split ring makes the current flow into the external circuit in one direction. This means that after the armature makes a half turn, the gaps between the split ring or commutator causes the voltage to reset or no voltage output. Then, another positive voltage output is obtained as the brushes touches the other half of the commutator. The two brushes are always in contact with successive pairs of commutator halves. That's it for today, grade 10 learners. This time, kindly get your activity sheet number 8 in Science 10. Directions: study the given illustration and answer the given question. Use your time wisely, learners. Good luck and God bless. This has been Miss Mary Grace Malalis. Always remember to keep reading, keep watching, and keep learning at home. Bye!
We hope that you have learned the most essential lessons you need to master. See you on our next episodes. This has been Ang Tangkub.
It's tangkub time. We learn all things, it's very fun. Masaya. Tugtog na.
Kung gusto mong maglingaw-lingaw, mga tawag magloling hayaw, mag-joyride na. Uba na ang imong barkada, silingan o pamilya, mag-joyride na. Sinatingon tang palibot, mga lugar sulod sa tanggob, mag-ubanta. Silang gato makilaw sa sanabog sa pulaw, laagon ta. Labi na yun sa huyuhoy, ugnang dapit daghan og kahoy, talan na. Maglibot tango ta. Maglipay-lipay, magsakay-sakay tala. Maghihiusap, maghihigala. Let's get together, make life feel better. Kung gusto ka og entertainment, for fun and for enjoyment, no problem ka. Sinanduloy among pambato, kumusayo smart kaayo, believe jud ka. Panahon sad sa Disyembre, super kit ka aligre, malingaw gyud ka. Fireworks display daghang ganahan, musidlak sa kalangitan, mapawag gyud ka. Christmas symbols, capital of the Philippines. Ninira na ninyo makita, friends, di ba? maglibot tanggap kita. Maglipay-lipay, magsakay-sakay tala. Maghihiusa, maghihigala. Let's get together, make life feel better. Makita friends, di ba? Hapit sa tanggong, maglibot tanggong kita. Maglipay-lipay, magsakay-sakay tala. Maglibot tanggong, maglibot tanggong kita. Maglibot tango, maglibot tango kita. Maglibot tango, maglibot tango kita. Maghihiusa, maghihigala. Let's get together, make life feel better.
Tayo na. Buksan ang mga radyo, lina at matuto sa mga aral sa mundo. Tayo na. Pumutok na sa TV, mag-aral ng maigi to get the lessons easily. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. Tayo na. Let's come and learn together, supporting one another. We love, we care, we share. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na.
Alamin ang teknolohiya sa agrikultura at pangkabuhayan upang umunlad ang ating bayan sagana sa likas na yaman.